Heinlein here. Welcome to Green15.
All
I'm
right.
really happy to introduce our guest for this coming podcast. It is Jerry Chidi. He is a nature photographer specializing in mangroves and forests in Nigeria with the Niger Delta. As an environmental scientist, we learn that if you take care of the forest will take care of you. And Jerry and his pictures are absolutely beautiful. He is also author of the book Man and Mangroves. Jerry Chidi, welcome. How are you doing?
I'm very fine, Gwen. Good to be here. Let's do this.
Excellent. Thank you. And how are you doing? How is
Great.
Nigeria doing with the crisis, with the pandemic? Are you guys okay? Are you staying home, staying safe?
Yes, we are. We are staying home. We're staying safe. We're doing the best we can given the circumstances. Thank you. How are you doing over there?
We're doing the same. We're staying home, staying safe, and doing our podcast to try and stay communicated and stay connected to everyone. Um, what I
Okay.
wanted to know was a bit more about the book. How did you think to do this book and taking the pictures about the mangroves in Nigeria?
Okay. So I started off as a documentary photographer around 2007, and I was actually doing pictures of certain tourist attractions around Benin. Then later, I got a job to do a documentary body of work for the River State government. And so that job took me around the states, the coastal communities, and some places like that. So I took pictures of the mangroves during that period. Now, after a while, like 4 years later, I returned to those environments where I did those pictures before. And I discovered that some of those environments were totally altered. In some cases, the communities were no longer there. The environmental degradation was terrible. So I felt like doing a story that shows what was and then what is, comparing a before and an after, and using that to raise consciousness about man's footprints on the mangrove ecosystem.
Excellent, excellent. That's fantastic. And now let me take the opportunity to get the pink elephant out of the room. That's an old American saying. I was supposed to be in
Okay.
Nigeria with you on June 5th, World Environment Day. But obviously, with everything
Yes.
that's happened, I can't be there. So, can you tell us a bit more about those activities on World Environment Day and if it will be planned for the future?
All right. So we actually planned on having a week-long environment mangrove exposition during that World Environment Day week in Abuja, the country's capital. The idea was that we will have exhibitions, talks, and the book presentation. The book Man and Mangroves and Environmental Awakening. We'll do the book presentation. Then the exhibition will officially be opened and it will run for 7 days. Now, on the 6th of June, a Saturday, we're supposed to have a 10 kilometers awareness run,
And 10,
during
excuse
which
me, 10
period,
kilometers, 10 kilometers is approximately 6 miles. Go ahead.
yes, yes, it's not actually the standard distance for a marathon. It's less than half of the marathon distance, but we want people to participate in it, amateurs and everyone, people like you as well, to participate in it. So the idea was to use the race to create awareness about the mangrove forest, what is happening in the mangrove forest. Now, if you visit the mangrove forest in Nigeria, which is around the Niger Delta region, you find out that the people, the locals, that they depend on this forest for their livelihood. It is their lifeline, actually. They fish there, the periwinkle there, oysters, everything. And that's where they live. The mangroves protect them from the incursion of the Atlantic Ocean. It
Yep.
helps to stop the coastal erosion. Exactly. Now, the mangroves also incubate all the seafood that the people are known to depend on. Then the fishing activities, their age-long vocation is dependent on the mangrove ecosystem. Now, with the environmental degradation and the mangroves just shrinking away, it means that these people who depend on this environment for their livelihood, they're endangered. A time will come, they no longer have where to live, nor food or sustenance. So it becomes imperative that someone like me, a documentary photographer, I will not just concentrate on doing beautiful pictures. I have to do pictures that tell stories, stories that could move people to change their behaviors. One of the biggest problem in this region is that of oil pollution. There's the locals, some of the locals in the communities, they refine crude oil in a local way by cooking it in open drums. Now, after processing it, they're able to get diesel, but the residue of that is not properly disposed. They're poured into the creeks,
Right.
whereby they
They do the
kill
same
all
thing
the
here in
aquatic
America,
life.
unfortunately. I'm sorry. They do the same thing in America, unfortunately.
Oh, really? I never thought
Not
that
a
could
lot,
be.
but
Anyway,
yeah,
so
regular people throw oil into the river. Look, I don't know, but unfortunately, yeah, some people do. Let me just review here. So the people use it for traveling on the river, the where the mangroves live on the river on the Niger Delta. They use it for food. Um, and the coastal erosion, like you said, is taking that land and some of that opportunity as well as food security away for the people in that area of Nigeria. Now we have mangroves here in the United States. I think they're in California, Texas, and especially Florida. People are aware, but they don't know how important the mangrove forests are to us and how much our impact, how much our pollution affects the forest, which is why I loved your book so much. Let me just ask you real quick. Do you work with any other environmental groups or universities with respect to this?
yes, I started by doing just documentaries, creating awareness, advocacy. But it should actually go beyond that because after advocacy, what solutions are you preferring? So to do that, I have to work with other environmental groups. Like one of them is Eco Restoration Foundation. Then there is the River State University of Education. I collaborate with these persons in creating awareness. Then recently, what we're planning on doing after this World Environment Day is to start oyster farms in
Mhm.
certain communities. Because, yeah, we found out that some of these communities they depend so much on the environment, and the problem is that they harvest too much from it. And because of this overexploitation, the oysters are being depleted. And the way they harvest the oysters is that they chop off the mangrove roots on which the oysters grow. So the next generation of oysters are not able to find habitat to grow. That is one. Then the mangroves too, because they chop off the roots, they're not able to do well. Some of them die off. So now the idea now is to introduce oyster farming so that they no longer have to depend on wild oysters. So to do this, we're partnering, we're collaborating with the African Regional Center for Aquaculture. And with the collaboration we're having, we're going to set up these oyster farms as models, something that could be scalable, make it bigger, or take into other communities. So that is what we're
And
doing. Therefore,
okay,
okay,
that
great.
that
Now for
I'm sorry. What I want you to do is when you can, send me the names or the links of some of those groups so that we can converse with them too and become more of a global community. Can you do that?
definitely, I will do that.
Thank
That
you.
we have activity and yeah, okay, great. So on
Great.
June 5th, what Environment Day, we're supposed to have those events that I mentioned, but because of the coronavirus, we're not able to do any of that. But we're having a webinar to create awareness about this oyster farming as a way of preferring of green recovery after coronavirus pandemic. Because definitely now people are going to rely more on the environment. They're going to task the environment more. So the idea is that while people are trying to get sustenance from the environment, they should also make it sustainable. They should also conserve the environment for biodiversity. So we'll be having a webinar to bring about all this exposition.
Excellent. Excellent. I think in your book you had some pictures of the oysters and the roots and the people that were working with you, which is one of the reasons I really liked your book.
Yes, I actually do. I have all of those pictures. The book is a photo documentary, so it's easy for everyone to understand it. This is it here, right? Everyone is able to understand the book because it's based on photographs. Everyone understands photograph. You don't need much text. You don't need much stories. People from all over can just understand what is the information that is being passed there. So that is the beautiful thing about photography as an art form. It does not only capture the moment, but it's able to pass message instantly so people will
Uh-huh.
understand what you're saying without much words. And it's able to move people to action as well. Someone could see a photograph like this and he's moved to act based on what he's seen in that photograph. So that is what this whole book hopes to achieve, to get people to act based on what they're saying.
Absolutely, absolutely. And on that, let me tell you, those pictures were, and the descriptions of what was going on was absolutely gorgeous. Do you consider yourself an artist?
First of all, what is an art? An art is any conceptual activity, right? At the end of which you have a product, and the products have the viewer of that product is either is appreciates it for its beauty, or the product moves him emotionally, and it kind of invokes some kind of response. That is art, and that is exactly what photography is. I'm an artist, of course. I use my camera as my brush with which I paint and tell stories.
Yes, yes, absolutely true. Well, listen, Jerry, let me before we go, what do you think the future is going to behold? Do you think we'll still get to do, even if it's next year, will we still get to do the event that we were planning for mangrove awareness, the 10-kilometer walk, the art show? Do you think we'll get to do it?
So long as the problem remains, we have to do all we can. So yes, we're going to do all of that. Either we do later this year or in 2021. But the activities now are more centered around doing things that put money and livelihood in people's that affects people directly. We will do advocacy, but apart from doing advocacy, we want to do interventions. We want to collaborate with as many persons as possible to collaborate to do things that can be translated into local economy for the people so that they depend less on the environment and deplete the environment less. So that is what we're doing right now.
That's
And
fantastic.
let me quickly tell you, yeah, one of the things we're doing right now as well is to induct mangrove ambassadors. So whenever we go out for a mangrove exposition, we meet with the local community, we talk with the youth body, the women, and we tell them that you people can be mangrove ambassadors to be the mouthpiece of the mangrove to talk for the survival and sustainability of the mangrove ecosystem. And they're excited to do that. So we teach them, we begin to train them. And one of our awareness tool that we give them is this book here. Yeah, we give them this, so that they can use it to learn from this and use this as well to pass the information about conservation to other people as well. So 2, 3 years from now, we're going to have a big crowd of ambassadors that talk for the mangrove. This is one of the ways we hope to bring about conservation and perpetuity of the mangrove forest.
That's fantastic, Jerry. Where can we reach you on social media, on Instagram, or where can people reach you?
Mangrove Expo, at Mangrove Expo,
Okay, at Mangrove
Mangrove
Expo,
Expo.
EXPO on Instagram. That's
Yeah, on
fantastic.
Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, Mangrove Expo.
Got it. Jerry, I want to thank you so much. We're out of time. I'm personally going to try and do my best to increase awareness about the mangrove population in Florida as well as the United States and globally. Thank you so much for participating with us in Green 15. Take care.
Thank you, Gwen. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. Thank you.